Hello students, welcome in today's class. As you can see here, today we will discuss how we can multiply decimal numbers. In my previous video also we learn about this, how we can multiply, and today we will learn how we can shift decimal points when we are multiplying any decimal number by 10 or by the powers of 10, that is by 10, by 100, by 1000, by 1000, by 10,000 and so on. So let's start how we can shift decimal point. Without much more calculation, we can easily, in one step, we can easily find the product. So let's start. An example I am taking here. Suppose we have here one decimal number, that is 2.15, right? 2.15 we have here, and if we multiply this number by 10, so how we can find answer without much more calculation? Within seconds we can easily find the answer. So what to do now? See, you need to see here, after 1 we have only 10. It is 10. In 10 we know that only 10 is there, so after 1 we have only 10. So it depends on your number of zeros that we have after 1. So after 1 we have here 10, so we need to shift this decimal point one place to right side. This is my right hand, and we will shift from left to right. Why we are shifting one place? Because after 1 we have only 10. So what is our answer now? 2, 1. Now decimal point we have shifted between 1 to 5. So we can write it 21.5. So when we multiply 2.15 with time, what we have? We have 21.5. Hope you understand. One more example I am taking here to explain you in a better way. Now suppose we have 16.35, right? And we are multiplying this by 10. No need to multiply like this. You can also multiply like this, but no need to multiply like this. You just shift decimal points, right? So after 1 we have only 10. It means we need to shift this decimal point one place to right side, right? So after shifting this decimal one place to right, what we have, this decimal point now will come in between 3 and 5. So here we can put decimal point. So our answer is 163.5, right? Now let's do some more questions on this. Now suppose 0.389 is a number and we are going to multiply it by 10. What we can do now? We know that after 1, 10 is there, so we need to shift this decimal place 1 to right. So what we have now, this 3, 0 we can write as it is, and 3 we can write as it is. In between 3 and 8 we have to write this decimal point. So this is our answer. Now we can also write it 3.89. Since we know that before this 3, this 0 has no significance, so we can leave it, right? So 3.89 we can write it. So this is our answer. Now if a non-digit number is there and we have to multiply it by 100, what we can do now? Since it have no decimal point, 125, it have decimal point after 5. We can write this 125 as 125.0, and if we multiply this by 10, we can shift decimal point to one place right hand side. So what we have now here, 1, 2, 5, then 0, and decimal point will come here after this 0, and here we don't have any digit, so we can put 0 here. Hope you understand. So we can write here only 1250. Since we know that after decimal point, if 0 is there, only 0, I am not talking about non-zero digits. If 0 is there, we can leave it. So we can write here 1250, or in simple way, we can add one zero after this last digit when we are multiplying by 10. So what we have here, 1250 we have here, right? Now see, 1.235 into when we will multiply it 1000. How we can multiply? Now see, we can see here after 1 3 zeros are there. It means we need to shift this decimal point 3 place to right side. So first place, second place, three place. Here our decimal point will come. So what we can write it, 1 2 3 5, then point. And since after this 5 we don't have any digit, so we can write 0 here by our own. So now we can also write it 1 2 3 5. So what we have here, after multiplying 1.235 with 1000, we have 1235. That is 1235. Hope you understand. Now, more examples. Suppose 69.5 is written there and we have to multiply it by 1000. Now you can see here, with how many zeros are there after 1? We have 3 zeros. It means we need to shift this decimal point 3 zeros right hand side. But you can see here we have only one digit here. So what to do now? We can write it like this. We can add as number as zeros that we can. The meaning of this one and this one is same. It means we can write 69.5 as 69.5000. You can add as many as zeros that you can want. So I have added here 4 zeros. We can add any of the zeros. This is the rule of decimal also. Suppose 25.5 written there, we can write it 25.5, then so many numbers you can add. The meaning doesn't change. Hope you understand this one. So we can write it like this. Now we can easily shift this decimal point to 3 places right hand side. So count from here, 1 2 3. It means our decimal point will come in between this 0 and this 0, right? So we can write it 69.50. Sorry, point now we have shifted. So we can write it 69, then 5, then 0, then 0, and this decimal we can write here. After 2 0 we have. So we can write it now this much only, 69,500. No need to write these 2 zeros that we have after this decimal point. We can ignore these zeros after decimal point. So 69,500 we can write as a final. Hope you understand. Let's take another example. Suppose 0.31 we have and we are multiplying it by 10,000. The same thing that we have here. After 1 we can see here 4 zeros are there. It means we need to shift this decimal point 4 places to right hand side, and we can see here we have after decimal point 2 digits are there. So what we can do? We can add number of zeros by our own convenience. So we can add these two are still same. These are still like decimals, right? So after 1 we can see here 4 zeros are there. It means we can shift, we have to shift 4 places to right hand side the decimal point. So count from here, 1 2 3 4. So we can shift our decimal point in between this 0 and this 0. So what we have finally? We have 0, then 3, then 1, then 2 zeros, and decimal point, then 2 zeros. Now we know that before this 3, if we have any 0, we can ignore this 0 and 1 0 0, and no need to write these two zeros also, since we know that after decimal point, if we have only non-zeros number, then only we can write that digit. If we have zeros after decimal point, so we can ignore them. So after multiplying, we have here 3100 or 3100, we can see. Hope you understand. Now we will also learn today how we can shift decimal when we divide by 10 or by the powers of 10, that is by 100, by 1000, by 10,000. Now we learn here division of decimals. Today I am explaining you only how we can shift decimal points in division. If we are dividing any decimal number by 10 or by powers of 10. Powers of 10 means by 100, by 1000, by 10,000, by 1 lakh, by 10 lakh, and so on. So suppose number is given here 2.56 and we are dividing this number by 10. No need to divide like this. Although I know that you all know how to divide, but no need to divide like this. If we are dividing any decimal, any number by 10, we can directly divide it. How? We need to shift decimal point. Since you can see here after 1 we have 1 zeros, right? It means we need to shift decimal point one place to left hand side now. This is very important. In multiplication we need to shift decimal point to right hand side, and in division, while we are dividing any number, we need to shift decimal point to left hand side. So here you can see decimal point is in between 2 and 5, and we know that 1 0 is there. It means we need to shift this decimal point one place left side, right? So it means now our decimal point should come just before this 2. So here we can write decimal point, then 2, and rest of the digits as it is. So 0.256. Now we see before point we don't have any digit, so we can put 0 here. So after dividing 2.56 by 10, we have 0.256. So this is very simple. Once you are multiplying, you need to shift decimal point right hand side, and if we are dividing, we need to shift decimal point to left hand side. Let's take another example. Suppose 15.829 we have, and this time we are multiplying this number by 10. What to do now? We need to shift this decimal point one place left hand side. Why one place? Because after 1 we have only 1 0. So what to do now? We have to shift this one to left side. So after shifting this, what we have? We have this decimal point now will come in between 1 and 5, and rest of the digits we can write as it is. So what we have here? We have 1.5829, right? Now suppose 0.357 we have here, and we are dividing it by 100. What to do now? Since we know that after 1 we have 2 zeros, it means we need to shift this decimal point 2 places left hand side, but we have only 1 0 here, so we can put one more 0 here. Now we can shift this decimal point after this 0, right? So our decimal point will come here, and then 2 zeros we have these two, then rest of the digits, and one more 0 we can put here just before decimal point if we not have any digit there. So what we have here now? We have 0.00357 after dividing 0.357 357 by 100. Another example I am taking here, 1.729 dividing by 10,000. What to do now? See, after 1 we have 4 zeros. It means we need to shift this decimal point 4 places to left hand side. So we can add here 3 more zeros, since we know that up before decimal point we have only one digit there. So we can shift this decimal point before this 0. Now point we can write, then 3 zeros in a row, then 1, then 7, then 2, then 9. And before this decimal point we should write 1 0. So what we have after dividing it? We have 0.0001729. Hope you understand, guys. So what we learned today? The summary is, we learned today how we can shift decimal point when we are dividing any decimal number by 10 or by the powers of 10, by 100, by 1000, by 1000, by 10,000, by 1 lakh, and so on. And also we learn how we can shift decimal point when we are dividing any decimal number by 10 or by powers of 10. In division we have to shift decimal point to left hand side, and in multiplication we have to shift decimal point to right hand side. Hope you understand, and I request you, please keep practicing on these type of questions. If any problem you have, you can write me in comment. Thank you so much.